This is the poetry reading and roundtable edition of People and Their Poems, hosted by Sandy Lee Carlson.
July issue of our poetry roundtable. It's great to have such a great group of people here to share our poetry and be a community around the world through our words. So welcome. Don't have a lineup. Does anybody feel like they want to go first?
Yay, a volunteer.
All right, Isabel, thanks. And I'm going to mute myself so that I'm not getting any feedback.
Okay. I actually just wrote this. I just pretty much wrote this anyway, and it was ironic that when I joined in what was coming up in conversation, Sarah's whole family talked about politics at the dinner table. We talked about other things. I was walking toward the student center when Bob told me JFK had been shot. When I fled my mother, a failed romance, and arrived in California, politics became reality. Vietnam, Korea, Desert Storm, 9/11, January 6, now another layer of fear revealed. I've hardly scratched the surface. How many ways with how many tools do we try to fix our lives? Who says they're broke?
Thanks, Isabel. Thank you very much. Wow. What a range of milestones in your poem to mark a lifetime. Would you mind unsharing? And then if anybody would like to comment,
Sure.
that would be great.
I wanted to ask you a particular question related to your poem. How do you see the poet's life and the autobiographical life of a poet aligning with world politics at different junctures of the poet's life?
That's a deep question.
Okay, so one more time, HP. How does our poetry affect our political lives or politics in the world or in our country? Or I missed a couple of words in the middle there.
I meant to say that do you feel that the autobiography of a poet's life is closely aligned with the way politics affects it? The world events.
Certainly as an adult. I mean, this poem, it's like when I was growing up, I was born and raised in South Carolina, which is very Republican, very red. And my parents, the family was Republican, but they were not rabid politically oriented. When I say that Sarah, she was like my best friend when I was 10, 11, 12. Her family was, they were Democrats, and they talked about Goldwater, and the whole family would talk about what was going on. In my family, it was, I like Ike. That was it. And I mean, frankly, he was one of the best Republican presidents, but we just didn't talk about it. And when I started college, I went to Memphis, which is now Rhodes College. It was sort of a Presbyterian-based school, and we didn't talk about politics. We talked about the origin of the world and so forth. But so I was there when I was a sophomore when JFK was shot. And it was, I mean, everybody was like horrified and horrible and so forth. But 2 years later, 2.5 years later, I went to California. I ran away, and I was just immediately, it was like, holy smokes, all the people I knew, the students, the friends, whatever, were were being drafted and being called up, and it was like, whoa. And the people back home, my classmates and my friends my age, they were enlisting because they thought it was patriotic and a good thing to do, and it was a chance for them to have a career. I mean, yes, politics definitely, I mean, certainly now, certainly now, it seems like the older I've gotten, the more politics have affected my life and my poetry, of course, because that's, I mean, what we write is what we are. And that's my opinion, but
Thank you.
Isn't it kind of like sooner or later we come around to everything? Because if you're experiencing the world, how could, I mean, you have to have a pretty strong discipline if like you're only going to write baseball poems and you're not going to write baseball poems that have any little bit of politics in them. So, I mean, sooner or later, if something grabs us, we're kind of gonna run with it, aren't we?
how political is baseball? I mean, let's get a grip here, you know? I mean,
Oh, gee, Isabel, that's a story for another day.
oh, okay, sorry.
No, that's
I'll
okay.
go on mute. I'll mute.
No. It's all good. It's all good. Oh boy. Let's see. We have Dee Allen here. Dee, would you share a poem with us now?
That's why I'm here. I'm Dee Allen from Oakland, California, traditional land of the Ohlone Nation, pronouns he, him, his. And I'm going to share one poem for y'all from my new and 10th book, The Mansion. Here's the title poem. Not every mansion is a playground for the wealthy. After the meeting ended, I met the stranger Salim described. Tall man, afro, dark blue trench. My first friend in San Francisco, Rollo. Almost stray dog style, I followed Rollo to a bus stop between Geary and Van Ness, and we entered through the back door of the crowded number 38. My first Muni bus ride. Disembarked at Geary and Fillmore. Entered Japantown, left on Fillmore. Trot 3 blocks north, left on Sutter. Trot down a dark, deserted driveway. Chain link fence swung open, enter side door. An Edwardian Gothic wreck nearly 100 years old, closed to the public for unspecified years, sans electricity. Rollo led me up a spiral staircase in the pitch black indoors. The second floor, a long piercing strip of halogen light, lacerated utter darkness. Rollo and I met Salim and Catherine. With his mag light, Salim gave Catherine and I an impromptu tour of this large archaic house of yet to be questioned history. Basement, frightening but huge. First floor, save for one well-lived-in empty rooms, kitchen with functional stove and refrigerator. Third floor, spacious attic, 3 rooms unclaimed. Back to second floor. Catherine, somewhat frightened, decided not to stay. Being new in town, I stayed. Salim provided me with a couple of tattered blankets in a room. Personal inner sanctum. No door, no lock. One window boarded up, one window intact. I laid my backpack and suitcase in that ice-cold bedroom. Kept my caramel brown leather trench on. Took off my black leather Timberlands, crawled under both tattered blankets, snacked on a chocolate croissant, and thought on the way to needed sleep. This squat, any squat, the solution to homelessness is right here.
Thanks, Dee. And the way the roundtable works, anybody can unmute and comment so that it's a free conversation and not a controlled one. Go ahead, Nancy.
I'm curious to know, Dee, I really liked your poem. I'm curious to know if you did the artwork as well.
I did not do the artwork for that cover, for the front and back cover at all. That was done by an Asian graphic designer who goes by the name of Wave. So I thank Wave for the back cover and the front cover of the mansion.
Dee, could we get the subtitle again? I was just making some notes.
The subtitle is Liberated Zones Inside the Controlled Inner City.
Thank you.
I love the specificity. You hit so many things that took me right there. The black Timberlands, the camel hair coat, the chain link fence swung open and going into the black. I mean, it was just really great. And the yet to be questioned history, that was really cool too. There are just so many lines in it that are really grabbed me. Thank you so much, Dee. It's really excellent.
That's what I try to do as a author. I try to bring each person who is reading my work straight into the action that the piece is describing in detail.
It worked. I was there, man.
And I want to bring people into the old house that I stayed in for about 2 months. My first 2 months in the San Francisco Bay Area. That I considered my first real home.
Wow.
Dee, do you know of another squat that I might be able to use? I'm pretty desperate here. But and again, your poem was great, and I really identified with it because I know all those places. When I came to California, I came to the Bay Area, and I lived in San Francisco and Oakland and Berkeley, and so I know those places. But
I do too. I still to this very day, even though I'm housed now and living in Oakland, I still consider San Francisco's Japantown my first real neighborhood in the Bay Area.
yeah.
And that was where the mansion was located. It was located on Sutter between Fillmore and Steiner.
Right. Yeah. I lived on Sutter, but closer to downtown.
Thank you very much, Dee.
You're welcome.
Let's see. Sharon, would you go ahead and read next?
This is called Hearing the Shaman Boogie, or is that a waltz? Insights like strobe lights, on, then off, soft messages just outside full view, flashes of Munson, good dog, 2 years gone, tags still jingle behind me on the stairs. Dogs stick around longer, even dead, they wait for one more bone. Sometimes I feel my mother's presence, look in the mirror, see her big grin on my face. Not really here, not really not here. Numbers keep repeating. Yesterday I was order number 444. It was 2:22 p.m. I got in the car, the temperature read 55 degrees. My shaman friend says spirits send me these numbers to show their protection, to show their affection. I don't think it's Mom or Munson, neither liked math. For months now, unseen hands deliver a clear answer. It appears sometimes before I even know I have a question. Too many coincidences to be a coincidence. Friendly spirits feel quite near now, just the other side of some cosmic curtain, watching and dancing, sending me good wishes and obscure messages. drinking wine and doing the boogie? Or is that a waltz? Thank you.
Those images brought me right in. That's wonderful, Sharon. Wonderful. Yeah.
I love the way you started it with the strobe light of insights, I think it was. Did I get that right? Yeah, that's really a great image. Love that.
Thank you, Julia.
There was a lot in there that I could relate to. Looking in the mirror and seeing your mother's face. Yeah. And the jingle of tags. And I love the humor too. You know, you're dealing with a very poignant experience, and yet, you know, neither of them knew math or liked math, you know.
The line, even dead, our dogs await when we're bone.
Mm.
Paraphrasing a bit, your poem makes me think about how the post-industrial revolution, these past several hundred years, we've all looking for the rational answer for things, and there don't have to be. And we've sort of reasoned the spirit world into its own corner, and I love the way your poem takes it out of that. And, those signs and symbols make us aware that those spirits are present. I love that poem. I've heard you read it before, Sharon, and I was so psyched you chose that one today. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you.
On first read, that's the first time I've heard it, and, I'm not looking at it, but I feel like there was some internal rhyme there. And I find it so hard to do some rhyme and then stop. And I really loved the craft with that, because I didn't sit there expecting more rhyme or, it was just well done.
Thank you.
Naomi, would you read next?
Yes, I was hoping you would ask me because I think this dovetails very nicely.
Oh, great.
And like the poem I read last month, whoops, where did everybody go? It's on the long side, which is different from most of my usual poems, but yeah. And I read around the same time. Some of you know that my daughter lost her life at the age of 16 years ago. And my mother's life was taken when I was 13. So that's important to sort of backstory for this poem. It's called Garden Vision. The view from the back porch is serene. The lawn slopes down to my garden, surrounded by brilliant blobs of color. Round, ripe raspberries dangle like fat rubies, and undisturbed, below a wall of nettles, a marsh of cattails, willows, orange lilies, pink joe pyeweed, and an enormous cottonwood, arms swaying, each individual fluttering heart-shaped leaf returning the setting sun, like thousands of hand mirrors waving. Caleb's head rests on my foot as his pillow. He runs in his dreams, perhaps chasing the baby robin I did not let him kill this morning. The porch isn't really a porch. There's a roof attached to the back wall of my barn, supported by 2x4s above a pallet floor, and though on this evening I can hear only the chorus of summer dusk, Om of crickets, arias of cardinals and thrushes, punctuated by occasional squirrels' rushed conversations, and the shush of vibrating wings as emerald-back hummingbirds drinking their fill of elixir hang like ornaments above bursting sprays of magenta bee balm. This paradise is not an island, but right in town, in between neighbors who, for the moment, are not home. This is the home that was always supposed to be temporary, that I was always been gonna leave someday. I have come to understand that won't happen. I have planted asparagus. Their lacy glazed plumes shimmer in dewy mornings, snowy feathers above a bed of bobbing red poppies. This is the home where Ellen lived her whole life, where I will live the rest of mine. As the clouds turn to gold, Mom sits down beside me, looks out at the scene with a smile, rests her needlepoint on her lap. Her hair would be a fluffy white halo now, though we'd both enjoy telling how she used to have me balance on the edge of the tub behind her while she peered into the mirror, ferreting intruding gray hairs for me to yank out, until she decided she'd rather go gray than bald. Her eyes still blue-green hazel, at least I think so. Did I ever know, or did I take knowing for granted? The tinkling wind chimes in harmony with Ellen's lilting laughter announce her arrival as she joyfully lives her dreams. She leans toward me, kisses my cheek. Her eyes are deep, dark blue, unfathomable pools like the bottom of the ocean, like the velvet sky right after sunset as stars reappear before all the blueness completely fades to black. I reach up to hug her and kiss her back. Jonna, honey, Ellen says to her little one, holding tightly to her hand, let's pick raspberries. They race off without containers of any kind, returning moments later, brightest lipstick dripping. Ellen plops Jonna onto my lap, then wraps herself around her grandmother's shoulders. I behold my daughter and mother loving each other, my arms folded around my granddaughter's imperceptible body. She nestles into me. I nuzzle her miraculous soft hair. Their presence lingers on the scent of leftover lavender. Happiness interlacing sorrow overflows into the yard, cascading through this magical night, down my cheeks, floating on birdsong up to iridescent clouds, blurry through wet lashes. Caleb cries in his sleep. I stroke his smooth fur, soothing us both.
Appreciated that poem and the use of the beautiful bird and hair imagery and looking in the mirrors and remembering the past and looking into the soul. That was really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Naomi, you made me cry. It's just gorgeous. And that idea that you can imagine the granddaughter you didn't have is just very beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. I made myself cry reading it yesterday.
And
I knew I wanted to read it today because the raspberries are doing their thing again. So
the description of Ellen's eyes was just amazing. And that concept that I always believed I would leave, but now I know I never will. And then planting asparagus, which takes years. I mean, just whew, it's gorgeous. It's just very gorgeous. Thank you.
The image of the
Wonderful
wind
image.
chimes completely stunned me because I have a deep fascination for wind chimes since my childhood. I have a wind chime facing me right now as I speak to you. And I think we should all liken the people we love and dearly departed to wind chimes because those are the memories which should, tinkle in our lives. And as usual, your poem was very poignant. And I'm going to reiterate, it was like a hymn
oh,
in
thank you.
terms of your enunciation. So thank you very much. May your daughter rest in peace. Your words are honoring her in the best way possible. Thank you for your gifts.
Yes, thank you, Naomi. And it was a stunning poem, and I just your intimate knowledge of the plants and the landscape around you, and all of that sort of being a part of that, being a part of who you are, just resonated with me too. On top of what everybody else said, so thank you very, very much.
I'm so glad that it worked. Thank you.
Oh, fabulous images and so poignant. So, yes. And the thing about knowing that you're not going to leave and planting the asparagus, somehow that I really resonate with that. Beautiful, beautiful piece, Naomi. Thank you.
Thank you. Julie, would you read next?
This poem I wrote after a trip to Maine a few years ago, and it's called The Fish Ladder. The alewives are swimming up the ladder again, from Damariscotta Bay, up the river. They enter a series of 72 pools, gradually ascending to the lake where they are free to have their spawning spree. Sometimes I feel like I'm swimming up a fish ladder. I float in a rock-lined pool with the other congregants, swimming lazy infinity patterns for only so long until I see the sluice pouring down from the next higher pool, and I'm seized with desire to go there. What will it take? Money? Connections? Mostly gut chutzpah, gird your loins determination. Flail your tail and make that all-out leap against the flow. It feels so good to emerge on the other side in a new rock-lined pool with a new group of congregants. We float and swim and confer until the stream flowing from the pool above beckons. The fish ladder ends 42 feet above the bay at Damariscotta Lake, a spacious, pretty place. A fish could have everything it wants there: life, love, food, friends, and except for the occasional tragedy involving hungry, swooping osprey, it's idyllic. But the return ride down the fish ladder, the sweet, easy descent, just let go and let the flow take you all the way back to the bay.
What a wonderful metaphor.
It's it's so funny. My family name is Whiting, the cheap fish. And I never thought about I changed my name but almost 20 years ago. But I never thought of that kind of a metaphor. Wonderful, brilliant, Julia. Wonderful.
I never knew what a fish ladder was before I saw that one.
No.
Dated with it.
Yes. Yes. Perfect.
Thanks.
Beautiful.
I love the image of flailing your tail and get into that next pool. It's sort of the gentle advice that's sort of woven into the imagery. Julie, is just lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right, and the not shying away from the hard work, the sort of the joy of the ascent.
Mm. Mm.
I like everything everybody just said, and I love the metaphor. I like the list of everything a fish could want too. That brought it home to me.
Thanks.
And the understatement about the osprey, that was great. With their laser vision. There's just that. That was great. Let's see. Prithvitit, would you read for us next?
Thank you. Greetings to all friends here. The poem I'm going to recite today is titled Bird Call. It's filled with irony, the exterior and the interior. And Naomi ma'am just now recited a poem which had the mention of the word marsh. But the use of the word marsh here, in terms of the connective tissue, is much more incendiary. It is about the world of nature being besieged by human indifference. So here it is. Bird Call. A newly awakened marsh, now a wetland, houses some rare birds. Some of them are migratory avians. They straddle timelines when they lift their powerful talons out of this bog. Behind sunken leafless trees, forever soaking their legs in these saltless waters, under construction buildings rise like silos, enjambing their tentative futures around this unusual abode of nature. A surprise awaits the seeker here. Mad dogs, high on callous adrenaline, test speed limits on their automated chariots on the lip of this wetland. Sentries yawn with a learned stalk of indifference. Only a peaceful canine sleeping under a diminutive plant is a pacifist here. Tranquility reaches a seeker when he's to himself, but it never becomes a lived reality. A Wednesday evening such as this comes to him. The reeds, families of birds, and placid water live amongst the vulgar outgrowths of a mannered city. We live together. Thank you.
Do we have time for you to read that again? There's a lot in it. Is there time? Could you read it again, please?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Can I read that again with all your permission?
Sure, of course.
Thank you. Thank you. Bird call. A newly awakened marsh, now a wetland, houses some rare birds. Some of them are migratory avians. They straddle timelines when they lift their powerful talons out of the spark. Behind sunken leafless trees, forever soaking their legs in these saltless waters, under construction buildings rise like silos, enjambing their tentative futures around this unusual abode of nature. A surprise awaits the seeker here. Mad dogs, high on callous adrenaline, test speed limits on their automated chariots on the lip of this wetland. Sentries yawn with a learned stalk of indifference. Only a peaceful canine sleeping under a diminutive plant is a pacifist here. Tranquility reaches a seeker when he's to himself, but it never becomes a lived reality. A Wednesday evening such as this comes to him. The reeds, families of birds, and placid water live amongst the vulgar outgrowths of a mannered city. We live together. Thank you. It is an inverted tribute to my city and what it is turning into day by day.
It's very interesting to me, Prithviji. I have a bird bath, and I have my not a bird feeder outside that I break the rules and put seed in every day for the birds. And if I dare to sleep in the tufted titmice, let me know. Time to move the seeds around. But it's very interesting to watch how aware the birds are of us, you know. And I think it's almost a human conceit that we think we're invisible to the animals around us, you know, when they're making some kind of sense of what they see and how to navigate it. You know, sometimes birds will nest in the illuminated letters of like a CVS drugstore or what have you, and this becomes part of their landscape that they have to navigate. And it's startling to me and amazing how these little flying dinosaurs can make use of what we do and find a way around us, but not always. You know, their numbers do take a hit and they do suffer and struggle. And yet it's an interaction, you know, that I think sort of human hubris overlooks, you know.
Hubris is the word, yes.
Yeah.
Can I just share a story about what happened actually? It was so funny. I was with my father, and a gentleman who's an avid bird watcher was also there. He photographs birds. It's his hobby. And all of a sudden, while we were watching at the birds during evening time, and there were these beautiful minor birds, some kind of ravens, on the marshland, the wetland. And suddenly we find these 5 or 6 reckless teenagers. They just drove their car around the edge of the wetland without even thinking that their car could directly, you know, go into the marshland, and there would be no chance of survival if that happens. Fortunately, they came back, but it was a very shocking experience for me. I had never seen such things growing up in my city of Lucknow. It was a city of culture, mannerisms, etiquette, charm, poetry. But day by day, and I don't want to say that because there's so many people coming from outside, because that will be, discounting the genuine warmth that so many millions bring to the city. But the younger generation, for lack of a better word, is turning out to be more and more reckless back home and perhaps everywhere. For them, even this wetland, this newly opened wetland, was just a spot for adventure. And it completely circumvents the idea of nature and what that space represented. So, out of that realization emerged this poem.
So those are the mad dogs
Those are the mad dogs.
versus the peaceful canine sleeping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice. And the it wasn't clear to me whether the marsh was there originally or somehow had been created. But the image that I got was a marsh with sort of the silos of the city kind of around it.
It was an actual marsh. It was renamed as a wetland when, man-made intervention came into play. And I saw these very ugly looking apartment buildings rising out in the background. And I thought it was the ugly interjection of human hands. And many of these apartments have,
Oh, there you go.
maybe in the future, this space can coexist, or it should exist. The bog should not suffer at the hands of real estate developers.
What
That is the
city?
worst fate that they can have.
And
What city are you in?
I'm in the North Indian city of Lucknow, which
Thank you.
is a cultural epicenter, and it's a tourist hub. And we are talking about this particular area is situated on the extreme outskirts of the city. So what has happened is, which is why I use the particular term vulgar outgrowth. I do not like to use the term about a city or a place which I've grown up in, but the kind of people who've settled there, the kind of establishments which are coming over there, it's very crass, very commercialized. And what concerns me is that the open space, the forest, and of course this wetland, maybe it will not exist in the near future. Maybe it will. So that is the seesaw that completely keeps tangling. And parts of my city are extremely beautiful. They represent nature and architecture, but this part of the city, the marsh was beautiful, but everything around it was it should rather be a blur than a reality.
it sounds to me that the marsh may get its revenge. It doesn't sound like, I don't know what kind of soils reports the engineers or the architects did before they started putting up these buildings, but anyway, yeah, I hear you. It's happening everywhere, and it's just, yep, we do all live together
Yes.
somehow.
And there should be no gentrification in terms of birds and God's creatures. They represent everything that we are. So
Absolutely.
that was the point of my idea. Thank you, everybody, for responding so
Beautiful.
favorably.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for a beautiful poem.
Nancy, would you like to read next?
So I have a beach poem, and this is from the off season. So at Hammonasset Beach. Wind whips my face this March morning. Clouds discolor the sky. Sand stretches for miles east, west, footprinted but unlittered, empty of guests. Years ago in July, lovers held hands, ran into the embrace of Long Island Sound, kissed. Children sifted sand, filled buckets, built castles. Teenagers threw frisbees, blasted radios, feasted on sandwiches, foil wrapped. How the ocean lured us with words. Let my cool waters soothe you. I stood, dove in, didn't leave till sunset. A friend several towels away also left, both of us too shy to say hello as waves washed away our steps. Today, the distant sun reminds me summer is months away, and you are on another shore, a world away.
So
It's another example of an environment being used and abused by man.
I like how the ocean talked to you and said, let my cool water soothe you. It does. It calls us. It does.
Nancy, you took me to another time, those foil wrapped sandwiches, you know? Yeah, my daughter and I, we get fancy sometimes when we get beach fries, you know? So,
We used to wrap the drinks, the aluminum cans in foil. Do you remember doing that? Oh my goodness.
and the comfort of the beach out of season when you can be alone with your memories. And actually, it's making me think of a line from Prithviji's poem, "Tranquility reaches a seeker when he is to himself." That's the beach off season, you know, and it's
very Thoreauvian.
We just lost D and my screen shifted, so it just caught me for a second. Sorry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I love the beach, and I never got to spend enough time at it growing up. We always went to the mountains because my mother couldn't take the heat in South Carolina. And it seems like all my friends went to the beach. But you know what? It seems like I've talked to people recently that the beach is not what it used to be. So I I'm trying to remember the good things and hear the good things and not long for the old times, the good beaches of the old times. So thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
I have a question. When I was listening to this, sometimes, I focus on a little part and then a few lines go by, but I saw it almost as a play on time too. And with the waves kind of washing away the footprints, right? It's felt like there was, am I correct with that? There was like the couple, then there's children, then there's teenagers. Oh, yeah, that was just lovely. I just wanted to make sure that that's what it was. I thought that was really lovely. And then with the imagery.
I have a question too. There was a part where you mentioned there was a friend on a beach towel not too far away from you, but did you say you got up and walked away without saying anything to her? I was just curious about that. That was in the past, right? Because you're there in March, so that was in the past.
Yes, so that was in the past, and it was actually a crush of mine, but I was too shy to say hello, and he was too shy to say hi back. So this is my little poem for him in remembrance.
And he would be the one
our silence.
And he's the one who's living at another beach. Okay. Thank you. Love that.
Thank you for asking.
Thanks, Nancy.
It was very tough to write. Took many years to write that one.
Ed, you got a poem?
Sure. I've been kind of going back to the 70s this weekend to get away from the politics of what's going on right now. Not that there wasn't serious stuff going on in the 70s, but that was when the adults could worry about that stuff and we didn't have to. So this is called Early 1970s. No cable television, no video game consoles, no internet and social media, no mobile phones, no problem. When we were kids, give us blue sky, give us sunshine, give us a day oh so fine. Give us a ball, hard or soft, a bat of plastic or wood, an old glove or no glove at all. Give us a field of dirt or grass, a half-empty parking lot, a street, yard, or the tiniest spot. Give us 2 kids or 4, okay, 6, maybe 8, or even 2 more. Give us carpet scraps, cardboard, or lines in the sand. Any which way, we had a game. 3 up, 3 down, 3 innings or more, except when it rained. Thank you.
No, that's cool.
That brought
I love all the repetition. I love the give us, and you began with repetition too. Know this and know that. Just you really set it up nicely. Really set it up nicely. Thank you.
And the beautiful rhythms.
And you helped me to revisit, and all of us, that a time when you're right, we didn't have to worry about things. We didn't have the weight of the world on our shoulders. It was just what to do on a summer day, and you really captured that well.
Yeah, thanks. We just got up and wondered exactly how we were going to have a ball game.
Pre-internet life was pretty nice, actually. I mean, I teach high school, and I had a conversation with students at the end of the year. We watched the movie Finding Joe, which I highly recommend, which is about following your bliss and pursuing your passions in life and believing in your heroic journey to carve your own path. And the kids were riveted. And I asked them after we talked about the movie what it was like to not look at their phones for this time. And they said, Miss Carlson, our friends are mad at us. They just knew that because they were off the grid for half an hour, there were going to be questions asked and answers. I said, they're in school too, right? They're like down the hall. So it was a shining moment, and it was a victory for this wonderful movie and this conversation we had. And but the pressure that they feel they have to succumb to, it's ridiculous, and so I had deep respect for their deep respect for me, because they actually listened to this thing and thought about how they could make their lives be what they wanted their lives to be, and not be dictated to. But they're dictated to not just by those social expectations that are in those torture cells, right? Those little phones.
Yeah.
They're lucky to have you, Sandy. They're lucky to have you and to have, yeah, they are. Whether they know it or not, they are.
Well, and then just as we think back at where things are now and young people not appreciating it, I don't want to get into this too much, but my school district was formed by the merger of an ag school district and what was considered a more academic school. So you had two cultures coming together by moving half a mile down the road into one building. It's absurd, but they are these cultural differences in these towns. And we ended up in the spring having a field day, and it rained to beat the bands. And I was stationed at an activity, so I had to, wait for the kid. And I had the hard one with the obstacle course kind of stuff. So it was like, after you do my game, you go join the army. You don't have to do basic, But got assigned it. But the kids it started to pour rain, and the kids said, "We're having fun. We don't need to go in." And they begrudgingly, the kids from the other school district that weren't too sure of the Litchfield people, right? That was more fun than we expected, So I think it would be an amazing social experiment to just put kids outside and say, "Come back when the lights come on," the way we used to joke and our parents joked, that we know the power of nature. Just here it is. Let nature do her thing, So thanks, Ed. I never got bigger than wiffle ball when I was a kid in the 70s, but
I'd just like to chime in because I'm a teacher of 6th graders, and I bring them outside we're allowed 18 minutes, and we haul, and we get outside, and I'm the only teacher that does it. And the kids disperse, and some take some wiffle balls and they go up, they don't ask me what to do. I don't provide entertainment. And some kids roll down the hill and just share joy. And it's, it's still in them in 6th grade. That's, what I can say is, they're really, they plan their own games. They figure it out.
Fabulous. It gives me hope. Yes.
Yeah.
That's great. And Ed, again, your piece, it reminds me of my friend Sarah, her family talked about politics and mine did not, but we didn't, it didn't affect us. In fact, I have a picture of us in our roller skates, just getting ready to, Saturday morning or afternoon or something, just getting ready to go down the street to this roller skating rink that was cement, kind of bumpy, but that's where we skated. So yeah, yeah, yeah.
Somewhere in the photo albums, there's a picture of the neighborhood kids. It's like our gang 20 years or 30 years later, and the hats are cockeyed, the shirts are too big, the uniforms are baggy, all in front of somebody's yard in front of a split rail fence.
Very cool.
That's great.
If I may, I'd like to share a poem with the group today. This is a poem I wrote for a group in Southbury, Connecticut called Justice Southbury, and they formed after the killing of George Floyd to basically stand and be in solidarity with that community, with his family. They stood up, and they've been meeting on Playhouse Corner in Southbury every Sunday afternoon at 2:00 since that. They had their fifth anniversary a couple weeks ago. And a couple of times I've been invited to write poems for what's going on. I was honored to write a poem for them for their 5th anniversary. But a couple years ago, I wrote a poem about Ukraine. And they asked me to read something then, and this is where this comes from. And I felt moved to choose this one for today because of whatever's going on between our lack of support for that country and its fight for democracy. I feel very strongly about that. I've been befriended a family whose daughter I teach English to every Sunday. We have lessons, and she's in college now, and we still do this. We've been doing this for a couple of years, and I found the family in a Business Insider article online about the mom who is a weaver, and this is a poem to honor her, and it's called Peace Weavers. Russian terror raining hard on Ukraine bled her people into foreign lands. Would Putin's menace empty villages snug in the snow-fed Carpathians? The reporter asked. Natalia answered, "We are not leaving. Here we are weaving the wool of our sheep on mountains so steep, no man stands a chance to stop with a glance. Life lived close to this land. No, this is our stand." Thus, Natalia Kischuk, with other Hutzel weavers, added her voice, sure in her choice to side with earth and art, earth's beating heart. No fear or malice, just peace with what is. Brave Natalia and her weaving sisters under mountains close to the sun are one with the All-Mother, Frigga, Norse goddess, weaving clouds, mist, fog into seeing, weaving events, magic into being. With her Celtic sister spirit, Brigid, goddess of poetry, midwifery, dyeing, weaving, divining, making and breathing life into livestock, the harvest, seeing transforms earth into heart. Speak, justice's part. The weaver's world tree claims eternity, travels Saul's spun sunbeams from the Baltics to Olympus, finds Athena among us, weaving justice and truth to assuage our ruth. Like the Hutzels, finding art is life's truth. Spider grandmother of the Hopi, bride of the sun, creator of human life, your Navajo spider sister teaches humans to love the earth and sun, enjoy earth's treasures, celebrate pleasures. Xochiquetzal, precious flower of the Aztecs, protector of mothers, patroness of pregnancy and childbirth. You are a beautiful woman wearing fine cloths you taught us to weave on the magic looms of eternity. Amaterasu, spinner and weaver of sunbeams, teach us to wake from dreams of peace and make them happen. Give release to visions of cooperation, hope for the untried young, their song to be sung. Across time and space, the story is the same. World myths are our sisters and our mothers who help us understand our brothers. Angel extinguishers of male violence, peace weavers shaping the story of hope, bearing the weight of our grief, that we might cope, birth a new day wrapped in love's warm gift, weaving love story and healing man's rift. Natalia's bravery, no form of slavery, but of life at her loom, freedom's midwife. Thank you.
Wow, really powerful. Beautiful.
I like how you woven beautiful mythology, Greek mythology, but you also added your own from this family's mythology of weaving. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I was gonna say something similar, and just also the imagery of weaving coming within. So
I like when you brought in about the angel. I wrote down the phrase and I can't read my writing. Angels, what is it? Extinguishing? No, men's violence. What was angels?
Angel extinguishers of male violence, peace weavers shaping the story of hope.
Yeah, that's a wonderful, wonderful phrase. I love that. Extinguishers of male violence. Yeah, because you mostly named goddesses. Am I right?
Yes.
No. Okay. No.
And they tend to be weavers. This is an interesting phenomenon around the world that goddesses are weavers. You know, when you look at Odysseus's journey, every time he stops on an island, someone's weaving something, and it's a woman. And the idea of a peace weaver in sort of Anglo-Saxon times was a woman of noble birth who got married into a warring tribe. You were the idea being if you send your daughter to your opponent's tribe, you're not going to attack, right? So this was women actually basically being the human shields for their own families by being offered as sacrifices in that way. So
and is that your term or the term that was used? Peace weaver.
no, it's not my term. That is sort of an academic term, a historical term for how the function of those women in those times.
Fascinating, yeah.
Sandy, it seems to me this poem needs a really big audience. It seems like an important poem to try to get out into something that has a really, really wide audience. Not just because it's beautiful, but the message itself seems so important right now. I would love to see that being like poem of the day, or something that goes out to. I don't even know how you do that, but it would be really great
Oh,
to
thanks,
have a
Sharon.
lot of people see that poem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree with what Sharon ma'am said. These are the kind of poems that should be a part of the New Yorker, not the free-flowing things that we usually see. What I was struck by in your poetry, as usual, is that whenever the imagery of weaving or feasting or fabrics is concerned, it is always the maternal touch. And even in the war poems of Siegfried Sassoon, we find the male perspective, which is not that nurturing and everything. It was really, really heartwarming. And the more we learn about Ukraine post-war, the more we realize that it is a country of ceramics, of fabrics, of warps and wens, and your poem really brought that reality to light. It's a country whose culture of textiles and the tactile touch should be preserved, but unfortunately it's being lost to embers of war. So your poem really brought that reality home. Thank you for that.
I've just finished reading a fabulous book about fabric and weaving. It's called The Golden Thread, and the subtitle, How Fabric Changed History. It's fairly recent. It's a marvelous, marvelous book, and fabric and weaving has created history, has changed history. It's so interesting. I put the note in the chat. Yeah, the weaving. Yes, we all live together. We're all woven together. We're all connected. And yes.
Well, thanks, Isabel, and thanks for that book recommendation. I'm gonna follow up on that.
Yeah.
It also ties into the discussion we had at the beginning of the hour when we talked about politics and the poet's responsibility, or how politics impacts the poet. And that's a perfect example of turning a story around and exposing that impact
Right.
and hoping for change.
While it rhymes, it's not, this sort of relates to, somebody said this before, like you were talking about the internal rhyme, somebody was, and not expecting, but it's not sing-songy, it's not making you sort of wait for the rhyme. The rhyme is just there, and it's very natural and organic. And so it enhances, it doesn't detract, because sometimes I feel that rhymes all feel forced and distracting to me.
Thanks. And I'm not a rhymer, I'll be honest. Julie is a musician and has led workshops in our community that helped me get over the fact that I have no rhythm and still going to participate. So whenever rhyme shows up, it's like, wow,
Where'd that
muses.
come from?
Like our buddy Sam says, the poem just hit me in the head. All right. Well, thank you everybody for this really wonderful conversation.
This has been People and Their Poems. Glad you could join us. If you'd like to know more about what we do, please visit our website at OrenaugMountainPublishing.com. Check out our poetry anthologies and learn how you can take part in an upcoming collection. And learn more about our services. Let us help you publish your next book. Once again, this has been People and Their Poems, presented by Orenaug Mountain Publishing. Have a great day.